Ragazzi, questo video è qualcosa di speciale. La Veteran Run è stato il mio primo progetto come serie su Sutoriimaa e penso si possa davvero definire un riflesso di ciò che l'anima oscura è stata su una piattaforma diversa. Vi dirò che vederla in questo modo mi riempie di romantico orgoglio e nostalgia, ma lo sapete, se sento una missione anche su divulgazione, critica e approfondimento, la condivisione e l'amore per l'empatia del vivere un'opera per me è e sarà sempre la cosa più importante. E infatti ora è in corso un vero e proprio sequel di questa serie in cui anche voi siete consapevoli con me e guidiamo qualcun altro in questo percorso. E non con poche novità, a partire dal coprire anche Metal Gear e Metal Gear 2 fino ad avere oggi gli strumenti per poter assumere collaboratori e creare documenti, animazioni e vedrete. Detto questo, come sempre, serve un intermezzo e stavolta saranno dei video che ho creato a complemento di ciò che c'è di più prezioso nel concetto di condivisione, una blind run. Curulili, Sara, splendida storica giocatrice e amica che con una passione e trasporto travolgenti si è approcciata a qualcosa che non conosceva per nulla, non è sfuggita al mio piovresco istinto di creativo e appassionato e vi condividerò ciò che ho creato per lei, capitolo dopo capitolo, proprio in questa playlist. È una rappresentazione concreta di ciò che sono come videogiocatore accanto a qualcun altro, ciò che sono sempre stato. Cominciamo con il post Metal Gear Solid 1. Allora, Kuro, benvenuta e benvenuti a tutti quelli che stanno ascoltando la mia voce. Ascoltate, non ho potuto e non posso fare una vera sequenza video completa, editata, post-prodotta, scritta e preparata per introdurla e introdurvi a Sons of Liberty, ma non vi lascio soli e non la lascio in balia dell'istinto, perché c'è troppa ciccia e troppo background che si può aggiungere all'esperienza che secondo me le diventerà la Metal Gear Saga. Ho fatto una scernita di contenuti, ho preso delle decisioni e ovviamente mi sono limitato a ciò che per ora è quel poco, tra molto spesse virgolette, si può condividere post un solo capitolo. Quindi ci saranno delle parti noiose, li ho chiamati compiti per casa perché ci saranno alcune prolissità che oggigiorno possono appesantire l'attesa del nuovo capitolo. Ma per chi è veterano, per chi sa cosa anche vuol trasmettere i figli della libertà, credo che sarete d'accordo nel far arrivare alla buona creatrice di contenuti che abbiamo qui che comunque la pazienza e la prolissità in questo caso sono proprio l'ultimo dei problemi. Partiamo dal primo dettaglio. Questo è il finale di Metal Gear Solid 1 in italiano, a risoluzione upscalata impossibile, mai visto assolutamente così all'epoca, a 16 noni, ma non di meno originale, e va considerato al 100% canonico. Meryl la possiamo considerare comunque sopravvissuta, personalmente è questo il finale che preferisco, ma la chiave di tutto è guarda e guardate come si interfacciano Hal e David dopo essere sopravvissuti a Shadow Moses, perché questo tipo di amicizia, questo tipo di legame è terapeutico da comprendere, fondamentale da acquisire per approcciarsi a Metal Gear Solid 2.
Fino a oggi ho vissuto solo per me stesso. La sopravvivenza è stata l'unica cosa di cui mi sono preoccupato.
Non pensarci, Snake, tutti gli uomini sono così.
Mi sentivo veramente vivo solo quando fissavo negli occhi la morte. Non lo so. Forse è scritto nei miei geni.
Che facciamo ora?
Voglio godermi la vita. Davvero. E che mi dici di te, Otacon?
Di me? Io mi sento un uomo nuovo.
Che cosa hai intenzione di fare? Continuerai le tue ricerche?
No, ho chiuso con la scienza. Ora mi interessa di più la psicologia.
Mi sembra una buona idea.
Sai, non sono mai stato un granché nei rapporti con gli altri. Avevo paura delle persone. Avevo paura di vivere. Pensavo di non riuscire a capire gli altri. Erano così illogici. Ma alla fine ho capito come accettare una persona. Non ho più paura.
Tu e io siamo più simili di quello che pensavo.
Sono stanco di essere uno spettatore della mia vita. Ora sono pronto a viverla. Sono pronto a reggermi sulle mie gambe. Non mi voglio più nascondere.
Ti togli la mimetica?
Eh? Oh, sì. La puoi prendere tu. Allora, qui dobbiamo anche dire addio alle donne che amavamo. Vuoi che guidi io?
No, grazie. Preferisco farlo io.
Nessun problema. Dove andiamo, Snake?
Il mio vero nome è David Otacon.
Io sono Hal, Dave.
Oh, è vero. Hal. Hal e Dave. Questa è buona. Forse dovremmo fare un giretto su Giove.
Tu cosa pensi di fare, Dave?
Penso che sia tempo di dare una svolta alla mia vita.
Una nuova via.
Un nuovo scopo.
Riuscirai a trovarlo.
Lo troverò. So che lo troverò.
Detto questo, guarda, a risoluzione stavolta originale, quindi preparatevi a un po' di male agli occhi, monto in questo piccolo dono un paio di livelli delle Special Missions VR presenti nella versione Integral rilasciata successivamente di Metal Gear Solid. Escludendo la gioia e il desiderio che voi vediate anche la bellezza del contenuto extra che sto per presentarvi, il motivo reale per il quale vi sto mostrando queste missioni è attualmente segreto, ne riparleremo in futuro, ma non di meno servono due informazioni chiave prima di proseguire. 1. Non sono canoniche, o meglio, Solid Snake non le ha mai eseguite. Lui è un soldato cresciuto e allenatosi totalmente sul campo di battaglia, nel bene e nel male. Ma, allo stesso tempo, erano tecnologicamente esistenti all'epoca di Shadow Moses.
Excellency.
E prima di andare oltre, al secondo capitolo di questa, preparazione, guardiamo qualche reale, eccezionalmente eccentrica e creativa easter egg di Metal Gear Solid. Ne ho selezionate un po', ma questo è ciò di cui si parla quando si racconta come la Metal Gear Saga, perché il primo capitolo non è la fine di questo modo di lavorare e creare, si dice sia piena, completamente inzuppata, pregna, soffocata da piccole chicche, trivia, idee e tocchi autoriali.
Once we get the game booted up to the main menu, we can actually screw around with the colours and the shapes in the background by messing with the directional buttons and analog sticks, which is pretty cool considering this is a, menu. Carrying on with playing the game, after we get through the air vents and inside the Shadow Moses stronghold, give Master Miller a quick call. And then another one. And then another one. Keep on calling him and then he'll eventually begin rambling about bodily functions.
It's also important to be able to control your bodily functions. You never know when a long demo is about to begin. So make sure you're prepared to sit in front of the monitor for a long time if necessary.
Acting as self-referential mocking to the fact that this game has long cutscenes. Speaking about bodily functions, before the cutscene with the DARPA chief and Snake is sleuthing around in the vents, have a quick look for Meryl in one of the cells below.
Is that a woman? Not him.
Once you find her, you'll notice that she's doing some exercises on her prison bed. And now everybody, get ready for the tediousness. If you exit back where you came from and then come back to where you found Meryl, you'll then see her performing another exercise. Do it again, and then you'll see that she changes positions yet again. But then on the fourth time you do it, you'll see that... oh dear. After another long cutscene and after the epic battle itself, you can have a little nose around and you may notice that you can see a parachute caught tangled in a tree. This is actually the same parachute that Liquid used to escape the crashed Hind D that you just blew up. If you then end up looking directly at it, you'll trigger another call with Campbell.
I found a parachute near the wreckage of the Hind.
A parachute? You don't think that Liquid survived?
Just for the giggles as well, repeatedly call Master Miller again around this point and see what he has to say, as well as a small squabble about hats and bandanas.
Over 70% of your body's warmth is lost through your head. Put on some kind of hat.
I hate hats. Is a bandana okay?
Well, I guess it's better than nothing.
He'll talk about the causes of pneumonia and when exactly is the ideal time that you shouldn't be playing video games.
In an Arctic environment, it's important to change your underwear if you're sweating a lot. You could even catch pneumonia. Gaming after a bath should be avoided.
And just before we get to the proper torture, Ocelot will warn you in-game.
When your life reaches 0, the game is over. There are no continues, my friend.
And then along with this warning, if you've played the game and not saved that often, Ocelot will decide to taunt you and try to make you submit before you've even started.
It's been a long time since you saved your game. If your body can't survive the torture, it'll be game over. You really want to travel down that long road again? Come on, I won't tell. Why don't you just give up?
Then we can get to the actual battle, where another fourth wall codec moment can be performed here by calling Campbell, who will tell you, to help you out with locating the gunship, to listen out for the rotor blades of it with your stereo TV. However, setting the game sound to mono, or playing on a mono TV, provokes the following call of disbelief.
Huh? Snake, you're not using a stereo TV?
It can't be. A mono TV? Well, Colonel, there's nothing we can do about it.
Although after that little bit of degrading, Campbell will still reassure you that you can beat the Hind D without the use of a stereo television anyway.
There's more to being a good person than just having a stereo television.
Brilliant. Going on to the next bit, killing all the Ravens before the boss fight with Vulcan Raven will provoke negative responses.
Snake, we're not paying you to be a scarecrow, you know.
Additionally, Raven will also be given an extra line when he meets Snake.
How dare you kill my friends?
And now for the big one, the one you've all been waiting for. If you were clever enough to find the digital camera after the torture scene from a hidden room near where Baker was being kept, you can search for the development team ghosts all throughout the game by taking pictures of random areas in the story. And to be honest, there are a lot of them. Over 40 of them actually. And with special thanks to a Chinese legend known as Wei Zi or Sun Ye for taking them, and this guy down here for uploading them to the internet, we are able to show you every one of these pictures, and I'll try my hardest to describe where each one is. So here we go. And by the way, I apologize deeply in advance for any incorrect and terrible pronunciations. Kazuki Muraoka can be found by the first ever tunnel that Snake swims through in the beginning of the game. Tomokazu Fukushima can be found at the heliport looking out to the sea from a cliff. Takanari Ishiyama can also be found at the heliport at the very top of the terrorist stronghold. And also, the great Hideo frickin' Kojima can be seen on top of a Police North poster in Otacon's lab.
Detto questo, arriva la parte noiosa ma che invecchierà bene. Qui, purtroppo in inglese, ma non potevo fare io stesso un video in questo momento storico, ci sono i riassunti di Metal Gear e Metal Gear 2, fatti con grande amore. Occuperanno una mezz'oretta, ma ne vale la pena perché tutta questa roba è reale, è successa, è nei ricordi di Snake e nella storia del mondo. La morte del più grande soldato della storia è qualcosa che vale la pena ricordare quando si parla di lui.
The original Metal Gear was released in 1987 for the MSX2 computer. The game takes place in the year 1995 in a fortified mercenary base in South Africa. The base, Outer Heaven, was suspected of secretly developing a weapon of mass destruction. In response to this rumor, the organization Foxhound, a high-tech special forces unit, sent their best agent, codename Grey Fox, to infiltrate Outer Heaven. However, his mission was unsuccessful. Communication with Grey Fox was lost after receiving his final transmission, Metal Gear. A rookie operative, codename Solid Snake, receives his first assignment for Foxhound. His mission is to infiltrate Outer Heaven, rescue Gray Fox, and uncover the meaning of Metal Gear. The commander of Foxhound, Big Boss, will provide Snake with support during the mission via transceiver. Big Boss. After arriving in Outer Heaven, Snake collects his weapons and equipment while rescuing hostages. One released hostage tells Snake to contact a member of the Resistance, Diane. Another informs that Gray Fox is being held in the secret cell. In order to gain access, Snake allows himself to be captured. Gray Fox reveals that Metal Gear is a nuclear-equipped walking battle tank, capable of launching a nuclear strike anywhere on the globe. The only one who knows how to destroy Metal Gear is its creator, Dr. Magnus Petrovich Madnar. During Snake's escape from the secret cell, he is ambushed, unarmed, by the Russian shotgun expert, Shoot Gunner. Former Spetsnaz GRU, Gunner is now warden of the prison in Outer Heaven. Snake retrieved his equipment and killed Shoot Gunner with remote control missiles. That's canon. Another rescued hostage reveals that Petrovich is being held in the cell in the courtyard. But in order for Snake to get there, he'll have to parachute from the roof. In preparation for the heavy winds on the roof, Snake obtains a heavy blast suit from the building's basement by blowing up several weak walls. Guarding Outer Heaven's parachute is the enemy commander, Machine Gun Kid. Despite being former SAS, Machine Gun Kid fell victim to the same remote control missiles as Shoot Gunner. Snake takes the parachute, dons the blast suit, and sneaks to the roof. Blocking the path of the parachute point is a Russian gunship, the Hind D helicopter. Because it could not take off from the roof, Snake destroyed it easily with a grenade launcher. After parachuting to the courtyard, Snake finds that Petrovich is missing from his cell. A hostage informs Snake that Petrovich has been moved 10 kilometers away to building number 2. In order to get there, Snake crosses a long stretch of land filled with landmines. As if that were not enough to contend with, the route is blocked by a tank. Luckily, Snake knew that the weak underside armor was no match for landmines. Building number 2 at the end of the route is heavily guarded. To gain access, Snake suits himself in an enemy uniform, and then is invited in. After combating a bulldozer which guarded a hostage, Snake learns that Petrovich is being held in the basement. However, when he finds the doctor in the basement, he tells Snake that Petrovich is actually on the 2nd floor, and that Snake is in a trap. A pitfall that swallows the imposter, but not Snake. Waiting to ambush Snake on his path is Fire Trooper, former leader of the German anti-terrorist unit GSG-9. He is no obstacle for Solid Snake. Another hostage gives Snake the contact information of Resistance member Jennifer, but out of pride, she will only accept calls from executive soldiers. By rescuing hostages and killing enemies, Snake becomes a 4-star soldier, worthy of Jennifer's time. She arranges for a rocket launcher. Before Snake has a chance to use it, he finds Dr. Petrovich. Before he will discuss Metal Gear, he demands Snake save his daughter, Ellen, a hostage of Outer Heaven. Snake agrees and uses his rocket launcher to destroy Arnold, a pair of identical TX-11 cyberoids that Petrovich was forced to create. After Arnold, Snake finds Ellen tied up in a pitch-black, pitfall-trapped basement. A satisfied Petrovich then gives Snake the secret to defeating Metal Gear. Bomb its right and left feet in a specific sequence. After a trek through a scorpion-filled desert, Snake obtains an oxygen tank. After re-trekking through the same desert, Snake swims through the drainage ditch to reach the building housing Metal Gear. Kyle Schneider calls to tell Snake that he learned the identity of Outer Heaven's leader, but communication is cut off before he can reveal it. Blocking Snake's path is Coward Duck, once the head of the terrorist unit Eggplant. To prevent Snake shooting him, Duck surrounds himself in hostages, including Jennifer's brother. Snake is able to kill Duck regardless, and collects the keycard, which unlocks the door to Metal Gear. Before he reaches Metal Gear, however, Snake rescues a hostage who claims that the leader of Outer Heaven is Big Boss. Big Boss calls Snake and tells him to abort the mission and turn off his MSX console. Ignoring the command, Snake blows up an inactive Metal Gear, which triggers Outer Heaven's self-destruct sequence, for some reason. While making his escape, Snake is confronted by Big Boss himself. He reveals that he chose Snake for this mission because he was inexperienced, and he expected him to fail, but he's come too far and must die. Instead, Big Boss dies to a rocket launcher. Snake then makes his escape from Outer Heaven before it explodes. Twice. Snake has stopped Big Boss in Metal Gear, but at what cost? Metal Gear 2: Solid Snake was released in 1990 for the MSX2. This sequel to Metal Gear was only released in Japan because a few months earlier, the West received its own non-canon sequel, Snake's Revenge, for the NES. The real Metal Gear 2 takes place in 1999. After the end of the Cold War, every country abolished their nuclear weapons programs. However, the world is in a new crisis after a series of shocks to the oil industry. Oil reserves are at a critical low. Miraculously, a Czech scientist, Dr. Kio Marv, has successfully bioengineered an algae that can produce petroleum-grade hydrocarbons. This algae, Oilix, was revealed by Dr. Marv at the World Energy Conference in Prague. But on his way to an Oilix demonstration in the United States, Dr. Marv was kidnapped by soldiers from the rogue military nation, Zanzibarland. Making matters worse, NATO discovers that Zanzibarland has acquired a stockpile of nuclear warheads. The leaders of Zanzibarland plan to hold the world hostage by controlling the supply of oil via Oilix, with added insurance: the threat of a nuclear attack. Following the events of the Outer Heaven uprising, Solid Snake suffered from PTSD due to the atrocities he witnessed and committed in Outer Heaven. He retired from Foxhound and secluded himself in the mountains. The new commander of Foxhound, Colonel Roy Campbell, approached Snake with one more mission: infiltrate Zanzibarland and rescue Dr. Kio Marv. Snake entered Zanzibarland via a hey-ho, a high-altitude, high-opening jump, discreetly, thanks to a diversionary operation on the Zanzibarland-China border. Colonel Campbell tells Snake that Dr. Marv is equipped with a transmitter. While searching for the transmitter's signal, Snake receives a call from Holly White, a CIA operative posing as a journalist, who had infiltrated Zanzibarland a month prior. With the assistance of Holly, Snake follows the transmitter's signal to Dr. Marv, who mocks Snake for falling into his trap. It isn't really Kio Marv, but Zanzibarland mercenary Black Color, who dressed as Dr. Marv and wore his transmitter. Black Color, a former member of the NASA unit Extraterrestrial Environment Special Forces, dies in his battle with Snake. With his dying breaths, he reveals that he is actually Kyle Schneider, a member of Snake's support staff from Outer Heaven, who survived the bombing raid after Snake destroyed Metal Gear. Schneider claims that the United States abandoned him and all other Resistance members in Outer Heaven, and bombed the site to cover up the existence of war orphans and Big Boss's activities. This is why he joined the Zanzibarland mercenaries. Holding no malice for Snake, Schneider tells him that Dr. Marv is actually being guarded by a Green Beret. Snake tails the Green Beret through the jungle to the building holding Dr. Marv. Inside, Snake hears a message coded in tap code. With the game's instruction manual, Snake translates the taps into a radio frequency. The taps are coming from Dr. Petrovich Madnar, the inventor of Metal Gear, who also survived the bombing raid in Outer Heaven. Petrovich tells Snake he is a friend of Dr. Marv's, and was captured along with him. Zanzibarland needs Petrovich because they have developed a new Metal Gear, a nuclear-equipped walking battle tank, named Metal Gear D. Petrovich gives Snake the new location of Dr. Marv, as well as the frequency of a zoologist, Josef Norden, to aid Snake in animal matters. On his way to Dr. Marv, Snake receives a mysterious call from a person calling themselves one of his fans. This anonymous caller warns Snake that he's about to enter a minefield and should use his mine detector. Snake avoids the traps by collecting the mines for himself. Then, Snake meets a war orphan who claims he saw trucks drive over the swamp. Snake deduces that there is a traversable path hidden just under the surface of the swamp, which he uses to cross it. Snake is then ambushed by the fastest mercenary in the world, Running Man. The former member of the terrorist organization Les Enfants Terribles seals the building and activates a deadly gas, then runs away from Snake. Snake outsmarts Running Man by placing the landmines in his path. Snake gets a tip from another child soldier that Stinger missiles are being stored in the tank hangar. He backtracks to collect them, then travels north towards Dr. Marv. Snake receives a call from Holly, who warns him that Zanzibarland has imported squeaking sand from Japan for security purposes. It proves ineffective as Snake sneaks through and meets a Hind-D helicopter. It takes off and attempts to shoot Snake, but the Stinger missiles make short work of it. To enter the next building, Snake disguises himself in his trademark cardboard box, posing as a delivery. After being delivered deep inside the complex, Snake gets a call from Holly, who has been discovered and imprisoned. She doesn't know where she's being held, but she can hear an elevator, running water, and a pump nearby. Using this sound map, Snake finds her cell in the sewers, with the entrance cemented shut. With plastic explosives, Snake frees Holly. She informs Snake that Dr. Marv was able to release a carrier pigeon, which flew to the rooftop. At the 30th floor, Snake is ambushed by Red Blaster, the Zanzibarland mercenary with a degree in special ops. His degree proves useless as Snake kills him with lob grenades. After reaching the roof, Snake finds Marv's carrier pigeon. The zoologist Yosef tells Snake that pigeons can't resist potatoes. Luring the pigeon with the B2 ration, Snake retrieves the message, "Help, Wis.Ohio," which is the radio frequency 140.51 upside down. Calling this number finally puts Snake in contact with Dr. Marv, but he can only speak Czech and Slovak. Dr. Petrovich tells Snake that Natasha Markova, a Czech state police officer assigned to protect Dr. Marv, is present on the base and can serve as a translator. Natasha, the only woman on the base, is undercover in an enemy uniform, so Snake can only contact her in a female-only area, the ladies' room. Natasha calls Dr. Marv to find he is in a building further north. Natasha knows a shortcut through the sewers. On their way, they find Dr. Petrovich in a cell, and he joins them. After a grueling trek through the sewer, Petrovich has to stop for his natural desire. Snake and Natasha take a break and talk about Natasha's lost love, Frank Yeager. Petrovich returns and they exit the sewers. Traveling north, they come to a bridge. Because no one will care if he dies, Petrovich crosses first. Natasha is next to go, but halfway across it she is hit with a missile. It destroys the bridge and kills Natasha Markova. With the last of her strength, she gives Snake her Zanzibarland brooch and whispers Frank's name. On the other side of the broken bridge, Petrovich is carried away by guards, and a massive walking battle tank approaches. Metal Gear D. From inside, Snake hears a familiar voice. It is Gray Fox, formerly the top agent in Foxhound, who was a victim to the bombing raid in Outer Heaven. Because of their former friendship, Gray Fox allows Snake to live and leave Zanzibarland. But Snake has other plans. In order to cross the bridge gap, Snake has to hang glide from the roof of the tower. He finds a hang glider and takes the elevator to the top of the building. But it stops one floor too soon. Gray Fox calls to say that Snake should have gone home. Snake is then ambushed by Ultrabox, the 4-man, close-quarters combat experts, formerly under the command of the President. After disposing of the 4 horsemen, the elevator suddenly malfunctions and drops to the basement floor. To reach the roof, Snake has to take the stairs. When he enters the stairwell, he is caught by a series of guards who chase him up 80 flights of stairs. Finally, at the hang glide point, he determines a good breeze with the help of gas grenades and sails to the other side of the broken bridge. Heading north, he is ambushed yet again. This time, Predator, the mercenary whose jungle stealth earned him the reputation of never having been seen by his prey. Snake blows him up with grenades and collects his prize, keycard 8. Snake then reaches an animal herding center and steals a pair of eggs. The first hatches into a snake and tries to eat his rations. The second egg hatches into an owl. A laser defense grid is blocking Snake's progress, but he gets a tip from some children that the facility is self-powered at night, meaning the grid is deactivated. By equipping the owl, Snake convinces a guard that it is actually evening, tricking him into shutting off the grid. Inside the camp, Snake is nearly ambushed one more time, but he receives a call from one of his fans, warning him that Night Fright, a killer with stealth camouflage and a silenced gun, is about to attack him. A former member of the guerrilla squad, the Whisperers, Night Fright is easily detected by seeing his bullets. Snake kills him and is puzzled as to why he didn't drop keycard 9. In the next area, Snake finds that Zanzibarland has been combating a rat problem by pouring puddles of sulfuric acid on the floor. He calls survival specialist McDonald Miller to learn that the sugars in chocolate combine with the acid to form a safe carbon gel. Laying out his chocolate-packed B1 rations, Snake crosses the puddles. His only path is blocked, however, by a keycard 9 door. His mysterious fan calls again to tell Snake that Predator had keycard 8 and keycard 9. Snake finds it in the tall grass. On the other side of the keycard 9 door, Snake finds Dr. Petrovich and Dr. Marv. But Dr. Marv is dead. Petrovich says it was heart failure, but Snake notices stains around Dr. Marv's neck. Petrovich says not to worry because Dr. Marv was smart enough to keep the Oilix plans written down on microfilm hidden inside a Konami MSX cartridge. However, Dr. Marv refused to unlock the locker containing the cartridge before he died. Suddenly, Holly calls Snake to tell him the truth about Petrovich. He was shunned by the academic community for his mad theories, so he aligned himself with Zanzibarland, flowing the latest technologies to the mercenaries and aiding in the kidnapping of Dr. Keo Marv. Petrovich admits it all. He upgraded Metal Gear D for Zanzibarland. He killed Dr. Marv when he refused to give him the Oilix plans. When he left Snake and Natasha in the sewer, he wasn't answering his natural desire. he was contacting Gray Fox to come to the bridge. Petrovich then attacks Snake, choking him from behind. Snake, panicked, begins to shoot remote control missiles in a loop towards his own back. Petrovich falls to the floor, dead, when Snake gets a call about Natasha's brooch. It is actually a shape memory alloy. When room temperature, it is the Zanzibarland logo, but when heated, it changes shape. Snake sneaks to the Zanzibarland food freezer and the brooch transforms into a key. Hurrying back to the locker before it warms, Snake unlocks it to find the MSX cartridge is swarming with deadly poisonous Zanzibar hamsters. Yosef informs Snake that hamsters can't resist the cheese in his B3 rations. Using them as bait, Snake shoots each deadly poisonous Zanzibar hamster. After retrieving the Oilix cartridge, Snake finds Petrovich isn't completely dead yet. With his last words, he tells Snake how to destroy Metal Gear D. Blow up its legs with grenades. Just then, a trapdoor opens beneath Snake's feet. He falls into an arena with Gray Fox piloting Metal Gear D, which he destroys by blowing up its legs with grenades. In the ensuing explosion, Gray Fox is unharmed, but Snake and all of his equipment are on fire. To put out the blaze, Snake has to abandon all his items and weapons. Then, Gray Fox challenges him to a fistfight in a small room covered in landmines. Snake receives a call explaining that Gray Fox was the best agent of Foxhound, but before that, he was named Frank Yeager and had a relationship with an Olympic ice skater, Natasha Markova. He rebelled against his superiors when Natasha could not be given a green card to the West. Now, Snake must defeat him to become the greatest mercenary in the world. And Snake does. Fox reveals to Snake his true motivations in Zanzibarland. He is trying to carry on Big Boss's dream of ensuring soldiers always have a place in the world. He feels he owes that to Big Boss for rescuing him as a child soldier. Gray Fox gives Snake the title of Fox, as well as the Oilix cartridge, and then he dies. Then Snake hears a voice from the next room beckoning him. He enters the room to find Big Boss. He survived the bombing run in Outer Heaven, along with every other person apparently, and established the Zanzibarland base to keep his dream of eternal war alive. He claims that Snake needs war just as much as he does, but Snake refuses, saying, "I love life." Being completely unarmed, Snake is chased by the machine gun-toting maniac around the room. Snake collects a series of keycards to access other rooms with other keycards, until eventually he collects a can of hairspray and a Zippo lighter. With the advice of Master Miller, Snake uses these two everyday objects to fashion a makeshift flamethrower. The tables turned, he is able to set Big Boss on fire, killing him once and for all. His charred corpse revealed that part of his body was reconstructed using Dr. Petrovich Madnar's Bioroid technology. Big Boss actually forgets to mention this, but it is retconned that Big Boss reveals with his dying breath to Snake, "I am your father." His demons defeated, Snake exits the area, only to be held up at gunpoint. The soldier removes his uniform to reveal he was just Holly White, playing a joke on Snake. She gives him a gun and tells him to arrange for evacuation. Just as he does, however, they are ambushed for real. Snake and Holly shoot their way out of the facility to a clearing in the jungle. As guards flood after them, Snake finds his weapon is out of ammo. It's all over for Snake and Holly. when suddenly, bullets tear through the remaining soldiers. Charlie, the chopper pilot, is just in time to save the day. Holly and Snake board the chopper, expecting to make it home before Christmas dinner. Did I forget to mention it's Christmas Eve? Back at Foxhound, Snake, Holly, and Colonel Campbell load up Dr. Marv's MSX cartridge, hoping to find the world-saving Oilix documents. They find that the MSX boot screen reads VRAM 01K, which is Keo Marv written backwards. Declaring the world saved, Snake silently departs, leaving Holly and the MSX behind.
E infine, questa è la parte più importante per potersi preparare a Sons of Liberty. Kurolili, cerca di crearti questa immagine mentale. Hai il cuore e la passione per farlo. Immaginati piccola, immaginati adulta, immaginati, indipendentemente dalla percezione del mondo che scegli di crearti, che sia quella di una ragazzina o di una donna, immagina di essere, dopo il 98, in Italia il 99, ad aver finito Metal Gear Solid. Non puoi non desiderarne di più e il mondo chiamava un sequel, come poche volte è successo. Siamo ai livelli di quanto si è desiderato un remake di Final Fantasy VII, per dirne una. E come ormai quasi purtroppo non accade da quasi generazioni videoludiche, l'arrivo di PlayStation 2, oltre ad essere stato uno dei salti tecnologici, grafici e di impatto per il videogiocatore e il mercato, il medium e tutto ciò che concerneva lo sviluppo più grandi della storia dell'industria, questa console è arrivata al mondo con poco dopo il trailer che stai per vedere, quello di una killer application. In un'epoca dove lo stesso concetto di trailer videoludico era a malapena ai primi vagiti, prima che si riempissero di CGI, quale tra l'altro era il caso del trailer teaser di Metal Gear Solid 1, che però praticamente all'epoca si può dire lo abbiano visto solo nel loro ufficio rispetto ai numeri che fanno oggi certi contenuti. Beh, insomma, prima della CGI roboante che occupava lo spazio di un possibile gameplay presentato, prima che l'informazione si riempisse di bullshit, ossia trailer fake che in qualche modo cercano di venderti il coriandolo con super eccitazione quando in realtà poi nella sostanza non è esattamente come sembra. Prima di tutto questo, Hideo Kojima ha presentato, con tra l'altro già all'epoca anche lì accuse di falsità perché troppo sconvolgente nella presentazione di ciò che si era mostrato, poi ovviamente rivelatesi completamente fuori luogo perché ciò che stai per vedere e da lì in poi è sempre stato in engine reale fino all'ultimo pixel, è arrivato sui palchi delle 3 quello che stai per vedere. E prima che parta ti chiedo di immaginarti tutta l'attesa, tutta l'aspettativa, tutto il desiderio di riprendere in mano il controllo di Solid Snake in un'avventura che potesse essere evolutiva e sequel di Metal Gear Solid, con un gap generazionale nel mezzo che era completamente sconvolgente. Ecco, il trailer che sta per partire è infatti concentrato, come purtroppo spesso manca oggigiorno nell'industria, su tutto ciò che di gameplay viene permesso, creato e sperimentato grazie ai nuovi strumenti tecnologici. Questo è un gameplay trailer di Hideo Kojima, potremmo dire tra i suoi primi in assoluto. Ovviamente upscalato a 4K con le recenti intelligenze artificiali, perché altrimenti lo avresti visto come un pixel sfocato che cambiava colore.
I stare at the stars and the sky up above.
Kojira Snake, 聞こえるか、オタコン。あ、僕だよスネーク。聞こえる？待たせたな。スニークポイントに到着。シャドウモセス事件の後、メタルギアの技術情報がブラックマーケットで密売されたよね。それで全世界にメタルギアの亜種が拡散した。今や各武装国にとってメタルギアは特別な兵器ではない。今回の新型はそれらに対抗するために設計されたものらしい。俺たちは 新型メタルギアが極秘裏に輸送されるという情報を掴んだ。今思えば疑うべきだった。
シャラシャーシカたちが降下した。これから私も戦争内へ向かう。そっちはどうだ？
情報は制御室、通信、機械を含め全て
乗っ取るつもりか？コントロールを抑えるつもりだよ。いいか、あれを奪取したらタンカーを沈める。
誰が操縦を？
VR 訓練を受けたのはあいつだけだ。奴たちに命中どうするつもりなんだ。奴らの手にメタルギアが渡れば大変なことになる。約束したろ。この作戦が終われば部隊を去る。
いやよ、タイは家族も当然。どこにも行くところはない。
いいんだぞ、ここは自由の国だ。どうしよう。大佐と共に沈め。 しぶりだな兄弟。お前は？そう、俺だよ。